Northeast Ohio native, and Ross Merriam is on your right. 10-0 versus 9-1, and we are making our way towards the top 8 here in Louisville. Marshall Arthur is a player I've known for a very, very long time. Grew up playing Magic with him. Lives about an hour or so, hour and a half, east of Cleveland in the Youngstown area. It's in between Pittsburgh and Cleveland. And he'll start things off with a Thoughtseize. See a hand here for Ross Merriam that has a Serum Visions, Jace, Vendilion Click, a Lightning Bolt, and a couple of lands here in Steam Fence Island and Scalding Tarn. If memory serves, Marshall, 9th place at the Grand Prix Columbus. You might remember this Grand Prix. Flash.
I was not there for that. That was Steve Satan's Grand Prix, where he won, I believe, in the files he won on the second turn with turn 1 Mystical Tutor for Daze, turn 2 kill you through your Pyroblast with Daze back up.
Do you know who he beat in the finals?
Was it Owen Turtenwald?
It was some dude named Owen Turtenwald. Yeah.
Playing Goblins.
That, of course, playing Goblins.
A dignified deck.
That was Owen's deck. To think that Owen got 2nd place in the Flash Grand Prix with Goblins.
We should have sewn up the best player of all time argument right there.
Right there.
Oh, yeah,
what are we even talking about?
Nothing left to talk about.
He just handicapped himself in one of the most volatile tournaments of all time with Goblin Lackey and a bunch of other doofuses.
Yep. Do you know the deck designer of Steve Satan's winning Flash deck with Dark Confidant and Sensei's Divine Time?
William Moreno.
Billy Moreno. That's right.
Never forget that. Give me a little credit here.
Yeah. Historically underrated deck builder.
One of the very best of all time, in my opinion.
You have 50 minutes. Please begin.
Couple of lands here for both players to start. Discard spells as well. Now here's Collective Brutality. Marshall really going after the hand here. He's already taken the Serum Visions and a Jace. Now he'll use the Duress mode here on Collective Brutality. Merriam's going to start by sacrificing a Scalding Tarn in response, get himself a basic island.
I think Merriam is intending to fight over this with Logic Knot.
That's exactly what he'll do. We'll head back over to Arthur's. An island there for Ross. You see he's got a Snapcaster Mage in hand.
And if you want to see a matchup that is potentially swung by the unbanning of Jace the Mind Sculptor, this is one of them.
I agree.
Game goes on for a long time. Arthur's does have some aggression, some burn, but he's not that well suited at contending Planeswalkers unless he has Young Pyromancer. And if a Jace rolls off here soon, that could be it.
Serum Visions will be recast here via Snapcaster Mage. Merriam has drawn a card. He'll split the difference on the scry with a member of Team BCW, and he'll pass the turn back. Arthur's will draw a card. And he'll just pass the turn back. No third land here for the Mardu Pyromancer player. Here's an attack for 2. If Jace the Mind Sculptor shows up here, this one could be over pretty quick, folks. Keep in mind, Merriam only plays 2 copies. One of them is already in the graveyard. Lightning Bolt looks like it's going to go after Snapcaster Mage. Now Arthur's will untap and draw. How about another discard spell here, an Inquisition of Kozilek? Cryptic Command will have a counter and draw.
Yeah, I think that's motivated from Merriam's side just as much as wanting to get the Cryptic out of his hand at a good exchange as possible. A little cumbersome to leave up 4 mana the whole game.
Arthur's will just pass the turn back. Here's a Vendilion Click. And Ross is going to target himself and say, I'll put a Lightning Bolt on the bottom. Draw a new card. Now he'll untap and draw. Scalding Tarn, an attack here for 3 by Merriam is going to bring Arthur's down to 12. Merriam with a very crafty choice in deck here this weekend. Might be the only player in day number 2 of competition playing Blue Moon. We'll find out when Miller gets done with his metagame breakdown, which will be a pretty large one here this weekend.
155, 56, something like that?
I do not envy Nick's position here for the metagame breakdown. But Blue Moon is a deck that has certainly not been on the rise of late. Between Ross Merriam and Rob Pisano, those are really the only players that you do see playing the deck with any amount of frequency. Ross has dabbled around quite a bit here in Modern recently, and touching on humans and elves. Dredge a few months ago, and primarily last year. And he's played Blue Moon once this year. This will be his second time doing so in a high-leverage event. And quite a bit of success as he'll search up an island with the Scalding Tarn. This will be a Snapcaster Mage. Looks like it'll be targeting Cryptic Command.
Yes.
Fatal Push will take care of the Snapcaster Mage. Cannot target the Vendilion Click. Ross will draw. Going to come in here for 3 more. He may have 2 bolts to close it out. I think I at least saw 1. Looks like the other red card in hand is a Blood Moon. He'll just pass the turn back over to Marshall Arthurs, who is still on the search for a 3rd land here this game, and he will just concede it because he has not found anything to do and did not find a Faithless Looting. So, Ross Merriam going to win game number 1 here over Marshall Arthurs. Blue Moon up a game here over Mardu Pyromancer as these 2 players dig into their sideboards. We will be doing the same here, but first, a couple messages from our sponsors. We are back getting ready here to watch game number 2 between Marshall Arthurs and Ross Merriam. Mardu Pyromancer and Blue Moon squaring off. Arthur's lost game number 1, so we'll start with him and his 3 Ensnaring Bridges, 3 Surgical Extractions, 3 Camball, Council of Allocation, 3 Wear Tear, 2 Liliana, the Last Hope, and Eclectic Brutality against Blue Moon here, Patrick. Not a ton.
The Brutality and the 2 Lilianas, I think, are fine. I don't think this is a matchup for Campbell, and the rest of this is for other decks.
We take a look at Merriam's sideboard, however. You'll find 3 Thing in the Ice, 2 Engineering Explosives, 2 Relic Progenitus, 2 Roast, 2 Dispel, and 4 1-ups here in Ceremonious Rejection, a Negate, and a Braid, and Anger of the Gods.
Pretty light sideboarding here, too. He has the Blood Moons to cut, so he's got a little bit of flexibility. I like bringing in the Engineered Explosives and the Relic Progenitus, and maybe Roast if he wants a little bit more removal for Young Pyromancer and Bedlam Reveler.
Well, those are the options there for both players. Game number 2 will be underway here in just a moment. But we got to talk about the StarCityGames.com weekly sale because you, yes you, can save up to 33% off select full art singles.
And make sure to be heading back to the website at least once a week, every Monday, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. New sale, new items and categories on sale, so make sure to be going back. See what's up right now for a limited time remaining, up to 33% off select full art singles. Memnite and Electrolyze, those cards interact in a certain way, and Forest and Beast Token is also a pairing.
They interact.
Right, there you go.
Yep.
There you go.
That's great design.
I know. That's someone in the graphic design department. That's a raise coming.
I wholeheartedly agree. Good
When
combo.
you see the Memnite full art and the Electrolyze full art next to each other, and you're like, I'm going to buy some Electrolyzes.
Kill that Memnite.
I'm going to kill that Memnite.
That's right. Maybe kill 2 Memnites.
Yeah.
And I'm going to cast that Texas Beast with this Forest right here.
Right. I'm going to put this Texas Beast in my hand and cheat with it or whatever.
In Inquisition of Kozilek, I'll show you a hand of Electrolyze, Ops, and 5 lands here from Ross. 2 Scalding Tarns, a Sulphur Falls, a Flooded Strand, and an Island. So I'll be curious to see what he takes here.
Happened to me once at PTQ back in the day.
What's that?
And just draw up my opening hand, opponent's on the play, and he just goes, turn 1, out of his 7-card hand, unglued Goblin token, and goes, this is my Mountain Proxy. Like, I guess I'm supposed to call a judge. I can't tell.
Just go get a mountain, man. I don't know.
No, this was 2002 thereabouts, so he was just kicked out of the tournament.
Oh, right, the good old days. The good old days. You are banned from the building.
I don't know what kind of cheat this is, sir.
But you are banned from the building.
Next round, he just goes turn 1 mountain and puts it in play. It's like, this is my Mons Goblin Raider proxy.
Yeah. Get out.
Get out.
Opt is done resolving. Ross has to contend with a Young Pyromancer now. He lost his Electrolyze. Scalding Tarn, maybe. He'll start with an Opt.
Yeah. Would love to find a Lightning Bolt here if you can.
Found a Desolate Lighthouse instead. Sulphur Falls, Serum Visions, draw a card, scry twice. It's a lot of manipulation to start here from Merriam. Both cards are going to go to the bottom. Arthurs will get to untap and keep his Young Pyromancer. Now we'll see how he moves forward. Marsh Flats. That'll let him search for basic planes.
Not necessarily industry standard in these Bedlam Reveler decks. Sometimes they just get away with 1 Sacred Foundry to cast Lingering Souls, and still play with Blood Moon and just say Faithless Looting will get me out of the corner cases.
Well, here's Lingering Souls, so 2 Spirits and an Elemental from Young Pyromancer plus an attack for 2. Do a little bit of shortcutting, and then we'll move back over to Ross. Ross will draw. Third opt. Scry. He'll keep that one. He's found a Lightning Bolt to take care of the Young Pyromancer now.
Yeah.
Island, Bolt. But will he be able to contend with all these tokens?
Yeah, damage is already done here. Good for Merriam to be able to find the Bolt, but Arthur's already got paid out for having the Young Pyromancer on the table for 1 turn.
An attack for Arthur 3. Going to bring Merriam down to 14. The follow-up is Lingering Souls from the graveyard. 2 more Spirit tokens coming in. Blackleaf Cliffs tapped, pass the turn back. Over to Ross. Makes you wonder, did he bring in that solo copy of Anger of the Gods? Does he have a good way to work through these tokens? He's lost his Electrolytes. I suppose he can buy himself a little bit of time with a card like Cryptic Command, but he doesn't have one just yet, so he'll take 5. Bloodstained Mire and a passing of the turn here by Arthur's. Merriam will sacrifice... No, Lighthouse activation, pardon me.
Well, that Lighthouse has now gotten him to 5 mana for Snapcaster Mage plus Electrolyze. That can block a token and kill 2 others.
This will be a Kolaghan's Command. We'll see what the modes are here. It looks like it's going to be make you discard and get back my Young Pyromancer. You do mention Snap plus Electrolyze being a good way for Merriam to actually catch up a little bit here.
I know this is going to sound like the type of thing that I would say, but I think I would have preferred 2 damage over discard a card.
It's okay.
The game's going to be, I think it's going to be tight here. It's unlikely that Merriam has just a handful of absolutely premium stuff if he activated the Lighthouse the previous turn, and the 2 points could matter. It's close, though. I can understand just wanting to get your card, get your 2 for 1, but 9 to 7 feels like a significant difference to me.
Well, Merriam's down to 4, but it could be 2.
Right, you have Collective Brutality and other Kolaghan's commands in your deck.
Young Pyro. Collective Brew. It'll be the Drain and Duress with Escalate. Let's see what we got here. Okay, sure.
Fair enough.
Remand down. Snapcaster Mage, 2 lands. Bedlam Reveler, last card in hand there for Arthur's. Here is Snapcaster Mage. There's the Electrolyze. No surprise there. Zing. Merriam will draw. He'll untap. Doesn't even have double red if he has Anger, so this could be a bit of an issue. Though we still play on, he'll activate Lighthouse, picked up a Jace. He'll be picking up the rest of his cards now.
But he still had an out there if he had the Engineered Explosive in his sideboard. He's drawing to that if he has land number 6 plus explosives. Didn't hit it. Now we're going to 3.
We are going to 3. So Marshall Arthurs will tie things up here against Ross Merriam. Mardu Pyromancer, Blue Moon, getting ready for a 3rd and final one. You see at least Marshall's going to go back to the board. I imagine Ross will as well. We'll give him time to do that while we hear a few messages. Game number 3 about to be underway here between Marshall Arthurs and Ross Merriam. Mardu Pyromancer, Blue Moon at the top of the standings here in Louisville. 2 decks that maybe we didn't expect to see at the top of the standings. I know a lot of players coming in expected to see a lot of affinity. Humans, of course, and Black Red Hollow one. Maybe a little dabbling of Jeskai and Blue White Control. And, of course, since this is the SCG Tour, the Storm Bros, but they're doing well, are Caleb Shear and Paul Mueller. I'm sure we'll see more of them later today. But for now, we turn our attention to these 2 kind of mid-rangey / control-y decks here, Patrick.
Some Blood Moon strategies.
Yeah?
The absence of Hollow one, at least on camera so far, has been kind of the surprising thing. I think we've had it on camera once.
Just once, yes.
I was expecting it to be quite a bit more popular than that.
2 interesting decisions, interesting decks here from these players, and Arthurs and Merriam. But as you mentioned, Blood Moon-based decisions.
Yep.
And, of course, a very good card in this format is Blood Moon. Hard to find a home for the card. These might be the 2 best homes for that powerful enchantment.
I like Blood Moon and Chase the Mind Sculptor in the same deck. I like that structurally. Lock them out and then lock them out.
Arthurs will take a quick mulligan. He doesn't waste any time. For Merriam, he'll deliberate a little bit before making his decision. And it looks like Ross is going to keep his 7. Ross looking to add another top 8 to his resume here on the SCG Tour. Member of Team BCW as well. I believe 4 SCG Tour Open trophies for Ross. He's really done a nice job of making a name for himself here. And it looks like Arthur will keep Scry to the bottom, and we are underway here in game number 3. Merriam will start by sacrificing a Flooded Strand, get himself a Steam Vents, fall down to 17 in the process. And we might see him start things off with a Serum Visions. Actually, it's going to be a Relic of Progenitus, a very good card in this matchup, actually.
Yeah, this one's really nice. Arthur does enough out of the graveyard to warrant the Relic. And also, there's something to be said for getting a card onto the table that you can cycle later against a deck with so many discard spells.
Blackcleave Cliffs, Inquisition of Kozilek. Cryptic Command, Serum Visions, Opt, an Island, and a Flooded Strand. Kind of hand you'd expect.
Really nice looking hand here for Merriam, and I like leading with the Relic.
Serum Visions will bite the dust. Opt, Cryptic, Island, Flooded Strand, they'll stay.
So much value over the long term here, getting that Relic onto the battlefield. Bedlam Reveler, very hard to cast. Lingering Soul stuff, cut off, Faithless Looting flashbacks. Just, he does a lot out of there.
Looks like another Cryptic Command may have been the draw. This is a very good Cryptic Command matchup, that's for sure. There's an Island there from Merriam.
Yeah, Arthur's does a lot of relatively expensive stuff on his main phase. And typically those matchups are good for Cryptic Command.
Arthurs will sacrifice his Marsh Flats. That'll get exiled. He'll dig a land out of the deck. It'll be a basic swamp, and we'll see exactly where he wants to move forward here. And he'll go with the Young Pyromancer. Merriam might be opting here in just a moment, and he is. Top card now becomes the bottom one, so he'll draw a card after that Scry one.
Now, how desperate is Merriam to find a removal spell here? I thought there was some chance he would cash in the Relic. Wants to hold on a little bit longer.
Oh, he's going to cash it in now. Interesting. I did not expect that. We'll go back over to Marshall now. He'll draw. Discard spell. Thoughtseize.
Looks like Merriam has picked up a Logic Knot for his trouble, which is just really good with Relic of Progenitus.
Cryptic will bite the dust. Logic, not Cryptic.
It's just really good.
Yeah. Island. Tormod's Crypt. Flooded Strand in hand. You got me off kilter now. Marsh Flats. Going to bring Arthur's a little bit lower. There is a Plains for your Mardu Pyromancer player. And Collective Brutality. I think we're going to take an... Yep, it's going to be the Duress version. Logic Knot will get this.
Yep. And Merriam will go into the 4th turn with land number 4 plus Cryptic Commands.
And he'll, of course, leave a Cryptic in the graveyard. Here's an attack for 2. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Surgical Extraction.
Never mind about going to the turn with the Cryptic.
No kidding.
Or any future turn.
Yeah. See if there's any more in there. The Anger of the Gods is in the deck. Marshall getting a little bit of info here.
See a Roast also got brought in.
Yeah. There's another Cryptic. Looks like maybe a copy of Thing in the Ice, too. So Arthur's has sculpted a nice little game plan here.
So you want to do it, soften them up with some discard spells, get a Young Pyromancer on the table, nickel and dime them with some leftovers, and now Merriam on nothing. Drawing to a lot of very good cards, of course. But
Agreed.
Right now on nothing.
Well, let's head over to Ross. He's picked up a copy of Lightning Bolt. That's a good start.
Yep.
Now take care of Young Pyromancer. Slow things down a little bit. Ross will play a Flooded Strand, pass turn back. Arthur's going to quickly untap, and he'll draw, looking for a card like Lingering Souls, I have to imagine. Bedlam Reveler he cannot cast, so he'll attack for 3. Your follow-up is Faithless Looting. No, that's not bad. That's because it's rarely bad. Going to get a great look at what he discarded. Did that one a little bit quick, but Merriam, thinking about if he wants to sacrifice this Flooded Strand or not. Looks like he will. Probably digging his Steam Vents out of the deck.
Yeah, once you've got a double red card in your deck in Anger of the Gods, I think you got to fetch now.
Yeah, the thing about Arthur's deck, one thing Merriam's deck doesn't do well, doesn't apply pressure like Marshall's deck does.
No.
These kind of ancillary 1/1s, they're kind of running around here in these elementals and, of course, Lingering Souls. That damage adds up as Arthur's will draw a card. They'll attack here for 3. Lightning Bolt will take care of one of them. These are exchanges Marshall really likes. And now he'll recast he'll recast Faithless Looting.
And Ross has to be somewhat aware of his life total here. That Lightning Bolt looks, I mean, it's not the way you draw it up, right? But going to 7 against a deck with Collective Brutality and Lightning Bolts and Kolaghan's Commands, it's dangerous, so he's got to protect himself a little bit.
Arthur's going to attack here for 2. Did discard a Faithless Looting to the last Faithless Looting. Ross will play a Scalding Tarn. Arthur's will draw. He'll attack here for 2 more. Going to bring Merriam down to 4. Where's Marshall want to go next?
Well, he interestingly did not flash back the Faithless Looting last turn, suggesting some sort of instant in hand. If I was in Merriam's spot, I would probably guess Lightning Bolt or Kolaghan's Command.
Or maybe his hand is just very good. That could be the case, too. Here's Collective Brutality. He's going to drain him for 2. And how about a Lightning Bolt U? And that is going to do it. Marshall Arthur's going to win this match here over Ross Merriam. 2-1. Mardu Pyromancer are going to stick and stay on the top of the standings. And for the Northeast Ohio native, it's 11-0 here, folks, in Louisville.
Great win.